Our next presentation, Ms. Lucchesi, Executive Officer of State Lands.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Can't tell if that's there.
I think you're on.
All right. Am I on? Okay, great. Good morning, Chair Stone, Chair Chesbrough, and committee members. My name is Jennifer Lucchesi. I'm the Executive Officer for the State Lands Commission. Thank you for allowing me to speak on these very important issues surrounding oil spill prevention and response. Prevention and response are two very different but equally important elements to California's oil spill prevention and response preparedness program. Prevention is working to keep the oil contained. Response preparedness is having the tools ready when you do lose containment. All efforts in response are focused on mitigating the damage to the environment and infrastructure as a result of the loss of containment. No amount of response should be considered prevention. The Lempert-Keene-Seastrom Act was clear in emphasizing that prevention was a critical part of the mandated program. The Act mandates that the State Lands Commission work to prevent oil spills at marine terminals and at offshore platforms. Other than assisting the administrator in determining the cause and quantity of a spill when requested, the State Lands Commission personnel and resources are not involved in preparedness and response. The State Lands Commission is primarily a land and resource management agency. Its only regulatory function is funded by the OSPAF for oil spill prevention. In terms of prevention, the State Lands Commission has two operating divisions directly involved, the Marine Facilities Division and the Mineral Resources Management Division. The Marine Facilities Division's mandate is to prevent oil spills at the state's 58 marine terminals, where tank ships and barges transfer oil to and from the shore by monitoring marine facilities and marine oil terminals throughout the state, and to review and approve operation manuals for those facilities. Further, the Commission regulates marine terminals by reviewing proposed marine terminals within the state, whether or not on lands leased from the Commission. Field offices in Long Beach and in Hercules along the San Francisco Bay provide marine safety professionals to inspect marine oil terminals and monitor oil transfers. The success of the Marine Facilities Division prevention programs can be shown in the oil spill statistics for 2012. In that year, over 27.3 billion gallons of oil was moved across the dock at California's marine oil terminals. At the 5,423 transfer operations, there were 12 oil spills with a confirmed volume of less than 16 total gallons. The Mineral Resources Management Division is also focused on spill prevention. Through a series of technical oversight programs, our engineers and inspectors in the Minerals Resources Management Division assure operator compliance with drilling and production regulations adopted by the Commission. These programs have been developed over many decades and provide comprehensive analysis and oversight of offshore oil production. The Lempert-Keene-Seastrom Act led to significant enhancement of these programs by enabling augmentation of the Safety and Oil Spill Prevention Audit Program. The OSPAF programs conducted by our Minerals Resources Management Division include drilling and well program review, facility safety audits, platform inspections and structural assessments, and pipeline inspections. Best achievable protection and best achievable technology is a constantly evolving standard, and our staff have contributed their expertise to several projects over the years to develop improvements in oil spill prevention. The Marine Facilities Division is made up of maritime professionals who know and understand the activities at its regulated facilities. They are backed by division staff responsible for being current on industry developments, new technologies, and best industry practices. Our regulations are consistent and even greater than that of the Coast Guard, and our Marine Oil Terminal Engineering and Maintenance Standards, or MOTEMs, have been adopted by several coastal states in the United States and by several foreign governments. MOTEMs is the only comprehensive standard in the world related to the design, construction, maintenance, inspection, and repair of maritime facilities. For offshore drilling and production operations, our Minerals Resources Management Division staff maintains operational best practices, industry standard practices and revisions, and pertinent regulation development through extensive safety management systems training and participation in selected workshops, symposiums, and joint agency industry projects. One example is the development of the Safety Assessment of Management Systems, or SAMS technique, to evaluate the human factor element of an operating company's safety culture. The SAMS procedure was developed in 1997 and has been used extensively in conjunction with the Safety and Spill Prevention Audit Program to gauge the maturity of the safety and environmental management programs of operators of platforms in state waters. I won't go through what AB 1112 did because I think Mr. Cullen covered kind of where we have been in the past and where we might be going with AB 881. I'll address how the different fee structures being considered will affect our programs at the State Lands Commission. The proposed bill, AB 881, currently provides for a 7-cent per barrel fee. It also includes that the Oil Wildlife Care Network would be funded by the OSPAF at $2 million a year. This deficit, with the $2 million, let me back up, I'm sorry. Based on these estimates of a fee at 7 cents per barrel and funding the OWCN, the structural deficit will continue and the fund will go deficit in 2016 and 17, as Mr. Cullen stated. While our programs have not yet experienced cuts or loss of staff due to the current structural deficit, we've experienced cuts and loss due to across-the-board cuts that many agencies faces. Our program would be reduced in the first year with the 7 cents per barrel by approximately 8 to 9% if OSPAF was funded at 7 cents per barrel. What this means is that this would result in a significant loss of presence in the field and in enforcement activities. And we are successful at prevention because we have boots in the field. We have personnel out there monitoring these marine oil terminals and these oil production activities. Specifically, the projected cuts to the OSPAF would immediately lead to a reduction of 5 positions in our Marine Facilities Division. Those positions would likely come from division staff involved in the further development of our Human Factors program and our engineering staff. This result would be a weakened ability to develop our Human Factors program and a slowdown in our MOTEM's implementation and review by our engineering branch. Both of these programs were identified in the Department of Finance audit as needing improvements. In our Mineral Resources Management Division, the projected cuts would immediately lead to a reduction of 3 positions. This reduction would prevent the current frequency of platform inspections and safety and spill prevention audits being maintained. It is estimated that platform inspections will be performed once per quarter instead of once per month, and the frequency of safety and spill prevention audits will decrease on average to 9 years between audits for each facility from the current 5 to 7 years. Our analysis indicates that an increase to 7.5 cents per barrel would almost be just enough to resolve the current deficit, but would provide no funding for any of the additional costs that will be resulting from known budget increases not yet included in agency budgets, nor would it provide for addressing any of the findings in the Department of Finance audit. This also does not consider some level of a prudent reserve. The Commission, while the Commission would be satisfied with the 7.5 per barrel, it would only be, again, a more of a temporary fix. We recommend that the fee be increased to 8 cents per barrel. This increase will allow the administrator to put the OSPAF on firm financial footing for years to come. The increase would cover all current budget obligations and provide funding to address audit findings and allow for a prudent reserve. An ability to adjust the rate to reflect cost of living is also necessary to keep pace with inflation. Setting a flat rate with no ability to adjust will mean frequent legislation just to maintain current programs. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you.
Well, it occurs to me, listening to both of you, that besides the legislative process, which we have approached it with this year, that this would be a really appropriate topic for the budget process and the budget subcommittees. And I think these same issues being aired in the budget might help to clarify the facts. Part of the problem we had on the assembly floor was people were just being told different things about what, and it was very confusing, and members didn't quite know which facts to believe. So if we're going to get a longer-term fix, it seems to me that it needs to be a very focused discussion, and it's possible, and I've gotten indications, we'll hear later today, I think, from industry reps, but, maybe if an agreement was reached, it could be part of a trailer bill. But at the very least, I think we should talk to the chair of the budget subcommittee on natural resources and make sure that this, whether we do a legislative fix, longer-term legislative fix next year or not, it should also be a focus in the budget process, I think.
Okay. Other questions from committee members? Just a quick one. Mr. Cullen mentioned the statutory standard of best protection and best achievable protection and best technology available. How do you approach that? How do you assure that your agency is meeting that standard?
Yeah. Our both staffs from our two divisions are constantly engaged with industry, with educational institutions, through workshops, seminars, conferences, phone calls, informal phone calls, and really kind of intimate relationships with all the folks engaged to keep their ear to the ground to understanding what new is developing in technology, what are the best practices. Both divisions have staff that are not only nationally recognized but internationally recognized for their work, and they have lots of connections to keep up on all these current technologies. And again, we have, I think, especially now with Mr. Cullen as the administrator, we have seen an increased working relationship with OSPR, and that will only continue to grow. And a lot of information is shared and exchanged through that as well.
Well, I believe, Mr. Cullen, you mentioned a task force that you have in your agency. Do you participate
Yes,
in
we
his
do.
task force?
Yes, and the other thing I wanted to mention is the State Lands Commission hosts a Prevention First conference every 2 years where industry, agencies, and environmental groups and other stakeholders can get together and share information about the best available protection and technologies.
Okay, great. Thank you.